Hi, I'm Delaney Quinn. 11:35 p.m., December 31st. I pulled my 12-year-old Toyota Corolla into the underground ramp in Lower Manhattan, the tires crunching over thin ice. A simple black dress, my grandmother's pearl necklace, nothing that screamed wealth because I never needed it to. I walked up to the massive steel door of the vault, the most exclusive New Year's Eve party in the city. Before I could even touch the handle, my younger brother Mason stepped right in front of me, waving his brand new black card with that smug grin. "Tonight is only for members and people with power cards," he said loud enough for the valet to hear. "And you aren't one of them." His fiancée Kendall smirked beside him. My parents stood one step behind Mom, shaking her head like I was the disgrace of the family. Dad added with a fake little laugh, "Maybe try finding a discount code, sweetheart." I didn't say a word, just turned on my heel to leave. That was when the steel door swung open on its own. Have you ever been mocked by your own family in front of everyone just because they thought you weren't rich enough? Leave your story in the comments. I read all of them and might retell yours in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next part. Because this drama is just getting started. Sharp heels hammered the marble like gunshots. Rafael Ortiz burst out of the private elevator suit immaculate, but face completely drained of color. He dropped into a full 90-degree bow the instant his eyes locked on me. "Ms. Quinn," he said, voice trembling just enough to echo down the cold corridor, "we had no idea you were here tonight. Please accept my deepest apologies." Mason's mouth fell open. The black card he'd been waving seconds ago now dangled uselessly between his fingers like a cheap piece of plastic. Kendall instinctively took one stumbling step backward, her designer heels scraping loudly against the floor. Raphael straightened but kept his gaze lowered in perfect deference. "The entire staff has been on standby since 9 o'clock. We were waiting for your signal to activate the signature lighting sequence. This should never have happened." My parents finally managed to speak. Dad forced out an awkward, too loud laugh that fooled no one. "Raphael, come on, it's just family teasing. You know how it is with siblings, right?" Mom jumped in immediately, clutching her diamond-encrusted clutch like a life raft. "Exactly. We were only joking around. Of course Delaney belongs here with us." I stayed silent. I've learned over the years that the loudest response is often no response at all when people are scrambling to rewrite history. Raphael's eyes flicked briefly to the four of them, then returned to me. Something cold and professional settled behind his polite smile. "Ms. Quinn," he continued smoothly, "your private entrance has been prepared. If you'll allow me." He gestured toward the brushed steel door on the left, the one that doesn't even appear on the architectural plans made public. The one no regular black card holder has ever used. I started walking. Mason moved first, trying to fall in step beside me. "Wait, we're obviously coming too." Two security men in tailored black suits materialized from the shadows and formed an instant human wall. Arms crossed, zero expression, not a single word required. Kendall tried next, her voice shooting up an octave in panic. "Excuse me, I'm with the Quinn party. We have the corner table booked under Mason Quinn. $50,000 minimum." Raphael didn't break stride. "The Quinn party has been temporarily reclassified. Standard entrance procedures will now apply pending further review." Mom actually gasped. "Reclassified? We paid $50,000 for tonight." Raphael glanced back, for the first time, tone perfectly neutral. "Membership terms are explicit, Mrs. Quinn. Access privileges may be adjusted at any time at ownership's sole discretion." The word ownership hit the marble like a gavel. Dad's face went the color of wet ash. Mom's hand flew to her throat. I kept walking. Raphael stayed precisely half a step behind, close enough to hear a whisper, far enough to show absolute respect. As the private door slid open without a sound, warm air rolled out, carrying the scent of century-old oak barrels, rare cigars, and candles that cost more per hour than most people make in a day. The low thrum of exclusive music pulsed against my skin. Behind me, Kendall's voice cracked. This is insane. She can't just. Whatever she was about to say died instantly. Because the moment my foot crossed the threshold, every light in the corridor behind us cut to deep, violet black. The exact shade that only one living person on Earth is authorized to trigger inside the vault. Raphael's voice floated back, calm, final, and loud enough for all four of them to hear. Welcome home, Miss Quinn. 400 heads turned at once. The entire underground chamber drowned in the signature violet-black glow that only one living person is allowed to activate. Every recessed light, every fiber optic thread in the ceiling, every crystal glass on every table shifted to that exact shade in perfect synchronization. Then the massive curved screen behind the stage lit up. In 10-foot-tall letters, white on black. Ms. Delaney Quinn, founding silent partner, The Vault Collection. The live jazz quartet cut off mid-note. The MC, Marcus Hale, a former late-night host who now only works private events for 8 figures, grabbed the mic and boomed over the sudden hush. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting for. Please rise and welcome the woman who literally owns the ground beneath your feet. Ms. Delaney Quinn. 400 chairs scraped back in near unison. 400 people stood. 400 pairs of hands started clapping so hard the sound bounced off the stone walls like thunder. Confetti cannons hidden in the barrel vaults fired silent streams of black and silver. Indoor-safe pyrotechnics burst in controlled violet spirals above the tables close enough that guests felt the warmth, but never the danger. Phones came out instantly. Dozens of cameras angled toward me. Live streams started. Hashtags were already forming. Mason's voice cracked through the roar. What the hell is this? Some kind of joke? He was shouting to be heard over the applause, but nobody was listening to him. I didn't answer. I just started walking the crimson carpet that had unrolled itself from the private entrance straight to the main stage, flanked on both sides by guests who now bowed their heads slightly as I passed Wall Street legends, tech billionaires, old money heirs, even a couple of Oscar winners who only fly private. A venture capital titan I'd funded years ago actually whispered, "Thank you," as I went by. A hedge fund queen lifted her glass in salute. Kendall tried to step onto the carpet behind me. A single security arm appeared out of nowhere and gently but firmly guided her back. Mom's face had gone chalk white under the violet lights. Dad looked like he'd aged 10 years in 10 seconds. I reached the small platform at the front. Marcus handed me a crystal microphone etched with the Vault logo. The applause finally began to die down, replaced by an electric silence. Marcus leaned in just enough for the room to hear. "The floor is yours, Ms. Quinn." I didn't take the mic yet. I simply turned and looked straight at my family, still frozen near the regular entrance like statues someone had forgotten to invite. Mason tried again, louder this time, desperation creeping in. "Delaney, tell them this is a mistake." I let the silence stretch another 3 heartbeats. Then I smiled, the small, calm kind that doesn't reach the eyes, and finally spoke. "Happy almost. New Year, everyone." The room exploded again. Cassidy set her champagne flute down with a deliberate clink and started walking straight toward the crimson carpet. Cassidy Bennett, my best friend since sophomore year at Yale. The only person in this room tonight who had known the entire truth from day one, moved like she belonged here more than most, because her family's firm had poured the original concrete for 6 of the 11 vault locations. She stopped less than 2 feet from my family, smile, razor-sharp voice pitched perfectly to Carrie without a microphone. "Funny running into the Quinns at the grown-ups table," she said to the room at large, "especially after everything I've overheard right here in this exact vault." Mason froze mid-step. Kendall's champagne sloshed over the rim of her glass. Cassidy turned to the closest table of private equity partners already recording on their phones. "Want a quick recap? 3 separate occasions, same venue, same family, same topic, me." She lifted one manicured finger. February 14th, Valentine's Gala. Mason, loud enough for the bartender to hear, told a circle of guys his big sister still drove a 12-year-old Toyota and clipped coupons. Said she'd never be able to afford a black card in a million years. Second finger. April 28th. The rare wine auction. Kendall, sitting at table 6, told 3 brides-to-be that Delaney worked some low-paying charity gig and probably couldn't even get on the 3-year wait list. Third finger. October 19th. The whiskey release party. Mr. and Mrs. Quinn bragged to a whole group that their daughter was perfectly content being average, and they were proud she didn't chase money like certain people. Cassidy dropped her hand and looked directly at me. They never noticed the owner was sitting one table over, picking up the entire room's 7-figure tab that night. Again. A wave of stunned laughter rippled outward. I took the crystal microphone from Marcus and let the feedback settle. Cassidy's memory is photographic, I said, voice calm, filling every corner of the underground chamber. But she left out the part where I don't just hold a black card. I own 68% of the parent company that prints every single one of them. The screen behind me flipped to a new slide, the full corporate ownership tree, my name alone at the very top, in bold lines connecting downward to all 11 vault locations nationwide. Real gasps this time. No performance left in them. I continued without raising my voice. That 68% means every sponsorship, every corporate partnership, every multi-million-dollar event deal flows through a discretionary fund I personally control. I looked straight at Mason and Kendall, including the one that was supposed to cover your wedding next June: venue, catering, flowers, the string quartet, the ice sculpture shaped like your initials. The vendor received full repayment at 9:17 this morning, with instructions to cancel the contract effective immediately. Kendall made a strangled noise and actually dropped her glass. Crystal shattered across the stone floor. Mason lunged forward. You can't just... I already did, I cut in. The email went out before I left my apartment tonight. Dad stepped in front of Mason, hands raised like he could still fix this. Delaney, honey, we didn't know. We swear we didn't know. That's the entire point, I answered. You never asked. You never wondered why I turned down every family vacation, every shopping spree, every "let us help you upgrade your life" lecture. You assumed I was broke and laughed about it in my own house. Mom's tears started then, silent and ugly. Sweetheart, please, we're so sorry. I ignored her and faced the room again. For context, the Quinn family received their black card 6 months ago. My parents personally lobbied a board member they play golf with at Winged Foot. Approval sailed through because no one on staff realized we shared DNA. Tonight corrected that oversight. The whispers turned into open conversation. Phones stayed up. Someone near the bar laughed out loud and didn't even try to hide it. I looked at Mason one last time. Enjoy the view from the standard section tonight. It will be the very last time any of you set foot inside a vault property. Kendall finally shattered. Mascara ran in black rivers as she screamed, This is supposed to be our night. You're destroying everything. No, I said into the microphone, soft enough that the entire room leaned in to hear. You destroyed it the first time you opened your mouths about me on ground I paid for. 11:58 exactly. Less than 2 minutes remained in the entire year. My father dropped first. His knees cracked against the ancient stone floor so loudly the sound cut through every conversation. My mother collapsed right beside him, clutching his arm like a life raft, both of them suddenly on the crimson carpet in front of 400 of the richest people on the East Coast. Mason followed half a second later, dragging Kendall down with him. The 4 of them formed a shaking, desperate pile in the center aisle, right where every phone camera could get the perfect shot. Please, Dad rasped, voice raw and broken. Delaney, please, we're begging you. Raphael materialized at my elbow, silent as always. In his hands, a matte black iPad already unlocked to a single document, vault letterhead. 4 names listed in cold, clean type. Richard Quinn, permanent revocation. Nancy Quinn, Permanent revocation, Mason Quinn. Permanent revocation, Kendall Hamilton. Permanent revocation. Effective immediately. No appeal, no exceptions. He held the stylus out to me without ceremony. I took it. 400 phones rose higher. No one pretended to look away now. Some guests were literally standing on chairs for a better angle. I signed with one smooth, practiced stroke, Delaney Quinn, majority shareholder and controlling partner. The instant the stylus lifted, every screen in the underground chamber flashed blood-red black vault card revoked Quinn family. All 11 locations. Permanent effective, 11:58, 12 p.m., December 31. The physical cards in their wallets vibrated once, then went completely dark forever. Dead plastic. Mason's phone buzzed hard against his thigh. He yanked it out with trembling fingers. His face collapsed as he read the new push notification from the wedding planner. Contract terminated per direct instruction of funding entity. Full refund issued at 9:17 a.m. today. We sincerely regret any inconvenience. Kendall glanced over his shoulder, saw the message, and simply folded forward. Her forehead hit the stone with a dull thud. She was out cold, mascara already pooling beneath her cheek. Mom let out a guttural animal wail that ricocheted off the vaulted ceiling. Dad tried to haul her upright, but his own legs buckled again. They clung to each other, sobbing without shame, tears and snot mixing on $1,000 tuxedo lapels and silk gowns. Phones zoomed in mercilessly. Live titles updated in real time. CEO's sister just ended her entire family on NYE black card execution. Caught live six-figure wedding canceled in front of Manhattan elite. Marcus never touched his microphone. There was nothing to say. I looked down at the four of them still on their knees. You spent years telling rooms full of strangers I was nothing, I said. Voice perfectly calm, carrying anyway. Tonight, the strangers get to see what nothing looks like when it owns everything. Dad crawled forward an inch, palms scraping the carpet. We'll make it right. Public apology. Anything you want. Just name it. There is no price, I answered. There is only consequence. Raphael gave the smallest nod. 4 tuxedoed security men moved in, polite but unstoppable. They lifted Kendall first, supporting her limp body like a broken doll. Then they helped my parents to their feet. Mason managed to stand on his own, swaying, eyes empty. The crowd parted without being asked. A clear path opened straight to the service corridor, the one that leads to the freight elevator and the back alley where the garbage trucks come. Mom twisted one last time, mouth open, ready to scream my name. I looked straight through her like she no longer existed. 10 seconds remained on the giant countdown clock. I took the crystal microphone from Marcus, walked to the exact center of the raised stage, and let my voice roll through every hidden speaker in the underground vault. Before we cross into the new year, I said calm and clear, one final piece of business needs to be closed forever. 400 people froze mid-breath. I turned toward the service corridor where security was still guiding my former family away. Richard Quinn, Nancy Quinn, Mason Quinn, Kendall Hamilton. Listen carefully because this is the last time you will ever hear my voice. Dad tried to twist free. A guard's arm stopped him cold. As of this second, you cease to exist in my world. No more shared holidays, no more birthday calls, no more emergency loans. No more anything. Mom's knees buckled again. She would have hit the floor if the guard hadn't caught her. I have already changed my personal phone number. The new one will never be given to any of you. Your numbers will be blocked on every device I own before sunrise. The Westchester house goes on the market at 6 a.m. sharp. The family group chat ends tonight. There will be no forwarding address, no new email, no social media you can reach. I raised my phone high enough for the massive screen to mirror the display in real time. The room watched as I opened contacts, selected every Quinn entry, and hit delete. Then I held the phone to the microphone so the soft digital deletion sound echoed like a gunshot through the vault. Gone. A low, collective exhale swept the chamber. I faced the crowd again. My Gulfstream leaves Teterboro at 9 tomorrow morning. I am moving to Los Angeles permanently. New year, new city, new life, clean slate. And none of you will ever see those 4 people inside any vault property again anywhere on Earth. The applause that followed was instant and deafening, 400 people cheering like they'd just witnessed justice itself. I lifted the microphone higher. Now let's do what we actually came here to do. Everybody on your feet. 400 chairs scraped at once. 400 champagne glasses rose into the violet-black light. I smiled, the first real smile of the night, and started the countdown myself. 10, the vault roared back. 9, 8, phones flipped to record the final moment. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The entire underground chamber detonated into pure midnight. Midnight struck. The vault exploded. Indoor safe pyrotechnics burst in violet-black spirals. Confetti cannons fired silver and onyx streams that drifted down like expensive snow. 400 voices roared as one Happy New Year. Ms. Quinn I didn't stay for the champagne waterfalls or the midnight kisses. While the celebration was still peaking, I slipped out the private exit Raphael held open. My coat was already waiting. The Toyota started on the first try despite the cold. By the time the last firework echo faded underground, I was already behind the wheel tires, crunching over ice as I climbed the ramp toward the street. Security had escorted my former family out the service door minutes earlier. I never looked back to see them standing in the alley beside the dumpsters, coatless in the freezing night, watching the celebration they'd been permanently banned from. My phone started vibrating the moment I hit the West Side Highway. Mom, 17 missed calls in under 4 minutes. Then Dad. Then Mason. I let everyone ring out to voicemail I would never check. At the first red light, I opened the family group chat, one last look at the panicked messages flooding in, and hit leave and delete for everyone. The thread vanished like it had never existed. I turned north toward Teterboro. The roads were nearly empty. Manhattan belonged to the drunks and the dreamers tonight. Snow started falling harder, soft and silent, erasing tire tracks behind me. 20 minutes later, I rolled past the private aviation terminal. My crew was waiting on the tarmac, engines already turning stairs down. The Gulfstream's door closed behind me before the city skyline disappeared under the wing. As we climbed into the black sky, I finally powered the phone off completely. No notifications, no last-minute apologies, no second chances. 6 hours later, I would land in Los Angeles, new number already active. New house already furnished, new life already waiting. Some people spend years trying to fix family. I spent one night ending mine. And the only thing I felt 30,000 feet above a country that no longer held anyone who shared my blood was lighter than I had ever felt in 30 years. Lesson learned once and for all, some people aren't worth keeping in your life, even if they helped give you one. Happy New Year to me.